Hey everyone, George here. Welcome back to the channel. It's been probably 3-4 weeks since I've actually stood in front of this camera and did anything. So I want to talk to you about this tank right here. This is a 5.7 Cobalt, a very unusual size tank, but one that I've had going. Yes, I do have a drink here. It's been one of those weeks of quarantining or locking yourself in place that every day you work at home and you do the things that you need to do and you just feel a little stressed by the end of the day. So having said that, yes, I am having a drink and I'm going to enjoy that with you, and we're going to talk a little bit about this tank right here. As I said, this is a Cobalt. It's a 5.7. I've had this tank for quite some time. It's been sitting around in my sort of, I don't know what I'm going to do with it room is what I call it. And I just kind of had this idea that can't really go anywhere, can't do anything. I could order some things online, but then you don't know what you're really getting. And there's all kinds of things about that that I just don't like. So what I wanted to say is I dragged this 5.7 Cobalt out because it's a really nice shaped tank. It is low iron glass. It's one of those tanks that is small. You're not going to be able to do much with it. You're going to be able to make a nano tank of some kind out of it, maybe do some shrimp or some invertebrates with some small fish of some kind. Not sure exactly what I would put in there, but we'll talk about that later as we get further into this build here. And I think this is going to be a two-part series here, or maybe even a three-part series, because I may let it go through a natural cycle. I do have the ability to quick cycle it with some hot rock that I do have, but I don't know. I'm tempted to sort of just go through the cycle because I don't know how long I'm going to be stuck in the house here. So, I think a tank that doesn't have fish in it is just as beautiful with plants and that sort of thing. And a nice piece of wood. I did find a great piece of wood for this that stands up perfectly in here. I'm going to be using dragon stone, I believe. I thought about Frodo stone a little bit, and then I thought, I got a lot of that kind of color going around in some of my tanks now, and I just haven't used dragon stone recently, and I thought, maybe it's time to get that dragonstone out and start using it again. So anyway, long story short, we're going to be escaping this 5.7 gallon Cobalt over the next week or so, and I hope you'll join me and sort of go through the motions of watching me actually design a tank. And we won't miss part 3, the planting this time, because I'm just going to be really careful about that. You're new at this, and sometimes you miss things, and like that little button, on the camera there, turning it on is very important if you're going to get some content. So I've learned the hard way that you just can't let that happen. You kind of got to check everything twice just to make sure. Like I said, 5.7 gallon Cobalt. And we're going to get into a nice build on this tank. I'm not even sure where I'm going with this yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be a beautiful sort of substrate that is the fluval stratum, which I really like. That's pretty much what's in here and most of my tanks. And really build it up high in the back, get some high stones in here in the back. Cliff-like looking stones, and I got some really nice plants on order here. They should be coming in the next few days, so I'm kind of excited about that to see what that brings. And I really am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a nice little tank that's going to be not heavy with ground cover plants. I just, a lot of people are really into the real heavy ground covered plants. I'm not. I really like to have some open spaces in there. I like to see what's going on in that darker substrate, the fish up against it, and that sort of thing. Kind of nice for me to look at anyway. I hope you feel the same. So as we get into this, like I said, it's going to be something we're going to do in a 3-part series. And we'll get started on the build the next time we talk, but I did want to talk to you a little bit about the design and what I had in mind for it, and hope that you'll join me over the next week or two in building this little small nano tank and just making some fun out of it, just having a good time. I know that many of us are getting a little bit of cabin fever and wanting to get out of our homes, and as much as I'd like to do that, since I can't really do that, we haven't been really told that we have a green light for that yet, why not do a build with the stuff that you have around the house? And this is going to be one of those videos where it's going to be basically stuff that I have around the house, with the exception of the plants and the fish, obviously, but it was stuff that well, maybe even the fish, I don't know. I mean, I've got lots of fish that I could move around, but for sure, the plants are going to come in, but that's about the only thing that I don't have. But I just want to kind of see what I can collect together and put together with this little build here. And I hope you'll join me over the next week or two, and we'll get this designed up really nice and turn this into something just really fabulous. Now, one of the problems I had with this tank, and I'm going to get some ideas from you guys on this, I do not have a lid for this tank. Now what I could do is what I've done with a lot of my tanks. I do have some small pieces of plexiglass that are fairly thick. Maybe I'll just cut it to that size and put that on the top here and see how that works out for us. So lots of things to think about. Like I said, we're going to use everything that we can find in my what am I going to do with it room, and see if we can come up with a nice design. I hope you'll join me, and we're going to get to that in the next video. Talk to you later.